Recovery is a process of decisions podcast. This podcast is a weekly revealing of the recovery journey of peer support specialist Trent Thomas. Join him on his internal research-driven dive into what to and what not to do in sustaining recovery. His weekly episodes demonstrate that you are not alone, and what we can't do alone, we can do together. This life is hills and valleys, but we were built for struggle. These weekly episodes are a journey into his life lessons as he fulfills his daily mandate to help someone other than himself. Welcome. The Recovery is a Process of Decisions podcast. Welcome to the Recovery is a Process of Decisions podcast. This is Trent Thomas, your recovery peer support specialist. This week's episode is entitled Recovery is About Being Imperfect. Perfect is defined as making something completely free of faults and defects, having all the desirable elements, characteristics, or qualities. Imperfect is defined as denoting a past action in progress, but not yet completing at the time of action. With these two definitions, we find the path to recovery. In recovery is an attempt to make perfect an imperfect life. Imperfect in our past is in full view with all our bad past decisions and the broad misery-riddled consequences we suffered from. These consequences, in most instances, were life-changing in their ability to cause misery and despair. Hitting the absolute bottom was the final result in forcing change to the life we were living. It is said, when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, then change is forthcoming. For me, this was absolutely the case. I could not endure the pain of continuing on the treadmill of self-inflicted drama I was living through. I could no longer tolerate the consequences I delivered to myself from the bad decisions I made daily. My daily chase for the very substance that brought my premature death to the forefront became even more perilous each new day while in active addiction. My drive to imperfection moved me to the point of complete insanity, a point where I contemplated ending my own life as a solution to the problems I was facing. I was alone and in trouble. Facing my fateful future by myself was decimating to my mind state. This complete collapse of my mental engine was all I needed to complete God's plan for me, and it had me asking for help. Help I desperately needed. My cry for help was the beginning of my road from imperfection to one of seeking perfection. In defining perfection, one sees a striving for what does not exist. Perfection is an imagined destination, a place we want to be, a state of existence we strive to achieve. The key is the progress we make on each new day of opportunity. Each new day is a gift of opportunity to just do better, striving to reach a level of perfection, a level we will never obtain, but the perfection is in the striving. The idea is that we improve, strive for betterment. Accepting responsibility for mistakes made is essential for growth and betterment. One cannot solve a problem until you first recognize you have a problem. Recognition often means finding regret. With regret, it should lead to asking for forgiveness or apologizing. The fact is, you may or may not ever receive forgiveness from the injured party. That decision to forgive is completely up to them. However, their decision to forgive or not has no forbearance on our ability to improve and do better. Forgiveness is offered as a benefit to us. It provides the road to move on. For us, it releases the mental entanglement in our own mind that the bad decisions cause. This freedom to move past the consequence of this bad decision places us firmly on the road to being better. It strengthens character, builds resilience, proves that there exists a power greater than us that can and will guide us through the consequences of the bad decisions. Life is for the living. Living life includes traversing the hills and valleys that life often includes. These obstacles are meant to be endured and overcame. God saves whom he wants and will never put more on us than we can bear. Faith is in the waiting. Faith is defined as the assured expectation of things hoped for, yet unseen. Faith is in the waiting on God to provide the solution. It is always his plan and on his timetable. We must always be waiting faithfully on him and his will to take place. We were born imperfect and will never achieve perfection. However, we were created and are sustained by an exceptionally perfect entity I call God. A God whose power is immense and whose will is unchallengeable. A God who can and whom will always be right and exact. His imagination is beyond our wildest dreams. He can make a way from no way. A God whose power is derived from the supernatural. God does not need anything from the natural world to see his plans to fruition. He said, "Let there be light," and there was light, even before he brought the sun into existence. No, God does not need anything from the natural world to bring his will into purpose. As imperfect free will beings, we possess the right to choose our direction, but we are totally under the power of the mandates or laws as designed by a power greater than us all. The mandate of choices, decisions, rewards, and consequences binds us all to suffer consequences for bad decisions. No one can keep making bad decisions repeatedly without suffering more increasingly greater consequences for each bad decision. The final and greatest consequence for bad decisions is death, where no decisions are made at all. Our imperfection is guided by God's perfect will and his laws. Recovery is God's solution for bad decisions. Through his will, he permits us to try again, to improve, to do better. Recovery permits the correction of imperfection, a new opportunity to just do better. Yes, recovery is about being imperfect. This is Trent Thomas, and I would like to thank you for listening to another episode of Recovery is a Process of Decisions podcast. You can now subscribe to this podcast and receive special in-depth episodes for subscribers only, as well as a private personal email account to communicate directly with me for comments and show suggestions. I also would like to invite everyone to check out my new ebook publication entitled Recovery, The 7 Steps to Sustain Recovery, available at Amazon.com. As always, your inspiring comments can be left at transnetrecover.com/podcast. Please feel free to follow me on Facebook and Instagram, #TransNetRecover. Thank you and have a blessed day.